You probably don't know me, but odds are you feel bad for me. You see, I'm Prospector's wife, Tara. I know what you're thinking. Oh, that poor woman. The truth is, he's the sweetest guy. Most of the time. But when he starts rambling, yeah, you have no idea. It's actually far worse than you can imagine. In fact, here's a little taste of my world. It's time for Prospector's Picky Pet Peeves on Rock 107.
All right, let's get started. Are people really that uneducated in the art of driving? I ask because I see people ghost through the stop sign in front of my house multiple times daily. You know ghosting, right? Shadowing. The car before you stops at the four-way stop, and when she or he pulls through the intersection, you pull through right behind them. Yeah, that's not how a four-way stop sign works, yam-bags. You've got to stop. Doesn't matter how long you've been waiting. When you get to the sign, you stop, then proceed with caution.
All right.
And it's prostate cancer, not prostrate. Prostate. There's no second R in the word, unless you're Andy Sipowicz from NYPD Blue, all right? Prostate cancer would suggest a cancer of lying down on the ground. There's only one R in the proper spelling or pronunciation of prostate. If your doctor mispronounces the word, you should probably run out of that jackhole's office and find another practitioner.
Seriously?
I see a lot of student athletes speak, and I usually end up wondering what happened to their English professor. I heard this phrase Sunday morning. The reason why I wanted to do this. Talk about redundant. The reason is the why, or the why is the reason. When you ask why, that's what you're looking for, the reason. And when you ask for the reason, you're looking for the why. It should simply be the reason I wanted to do this.
All right. You think that was bad? Try living with him. Love you, honey. Mean it.
Breaking the news that's already broken. It's time for Prospector's Briefs on Rock 107.
A Border Patrol agent is accused of making women show him their breasts in order to get into the country. This is the same guy who said, we don't need a wall at the southern border, but we should build a pole. Warner Brothers is replacing rotten DVDs to find out if you own any. Open the case. Does it say starring Nicolas Cage? It's a rotten DVD. James Cameron says the next Avatar will be longer than The Way of Water. Your move, Martin Scorsese.
It's 60 Minutes meets Gone in 60 Seconds. Tune in tomorrow for Prospector's Briefs on Rock 107.
Would your relationship with your dentist be different if they had you take a courtroom oath when you were sworn in at the front desk? I guess I'll find out later today because I got a dentist appointment. It's Prospector Show on Rock 107. Good morning, I'm Prospector.
Good morning, I'm Kate. 57% of us lied to our dentist. But don't feel bad because our dentists do the exact same thing to us.
So lean back, slip on a weighted x-ray apron, and enjoy today's list of top 5 lies that dentists tell us. Here we go. Number 5, I get zero delight watching you twitch in pain.
Top 5 lies that dentists tell us. Number 4, the magazines in the waiting room are new.
Number 3, I'm taking x-rays because you need them, not to jack you for more money.
Top 5 lies that dentists tell us. Number 2, I never huff nitrous oxide when I'm alone.
And the number 1 lie that dentists tell us, this won't hurt. There you have it. Cage, it's a rotten DVD. James Cameron says the next Avatar will be longer than The Way of Water. Your move, Martin Scorsese.
It's 60 Minutes meets Gone in 60 Seconds. Tune in tomorrow for Prospector's Briefs on Rock 107. Life's pretty tough right now. There's plenty of bad news, but it's not all bad. It's time for the brighter side of Prospector on Rock 107.
A 9-year-old kid in North Carolina did the Heimlich on his friend and saved his life last week. His name is Jason Branch, and he was playing basketball at recess, and his friend took a bite of a granola bar. Jason immediately saw he was choking, did the Heimlich hard enough to lift him up off the ground. He says he learned it watching YouTube.
Thanks. We needed that. The brighter side of Prospector on Rock 107.
Jerk.
Help Prospector learn from his mistakes. It's time for Am I a Jerk? on Rock 107.
All right, am I a jerk? The other day, a couple of friends out at lunch at a diner, and we're eating. And these two kids, maybe 7, 8 years old or so, they come in, and they start peddling candy at the diner. I'm assuming that's for a school fundraiser, but most of us at the table kind of bristled at the idea that they were there to sell us something in the diner. When they got to our table, though, the other 3 people I was with all purchased a candy bar. And then they got to me, and I'm like, no, thanks. I don't think you should be in here bothering people while they're eating. All my friends are like, ooh, I can't believe you said that. You're a jerk. What's the matter with you? Buy a candy bar. So now I ask, am I a jerk? What do you think?
I'm saying yes, you are a jerk. I don't think it was that big of a deal. You could have just bought a candy bar.
All right, let's find out what people are saying in the real world, though.
Well, Cindy from your Facebook said if you want a dessert, you could have ordered it at the diner. No, you're not a jerk on this one.
All right, so Cindy's with me there. I don't know if anybody else will be. Let's go check on the rock lines. Rock 107, am I a jerk?
Yeah, I think you're a jerk.
Yeah, you would have bought the candy on this one?
I probably would have bought a caramel kind. Were they Gertrude Hawks?
Yes, they were.
Absolutely, then.
And don't get me wrong, it ain't easy turning down Gertrude Hawks. You know what I'm saying? But it just didn't seem like the time or place for this, in my opinion.
Well, Rebecca from your Twitter said, flat out yes, just yes.
Okay.
And Maria from our TikTok said, you're not a jerk, although I probably would have purchased 1 or 2 anyway for the kids, but it's certainly not appropriate.
Got one in on the text on the rock lines. Not a jerk at all. You're there to eat and relax. And if you don't want candy, you shouldn't have to buy it. All right, I like that one. Let's find out what anybody's saying. Am I a jerk? Rock 107.
Not a jerk.
Not a jerk on that
I'll
one.
just stand in Walmart and sell the candy. That's as bad as going into a bar and sell candy.
Yeah, there you go. Somebody's with me.
See, I feel like if little kids walked into a bar with candy, woo!
That's a
Give
good
it.
thing?
So, yeah,
All
I
right.
would have bought it.
I don't know.
Well, Eddie from your Twitter said, no, not this time. You're right. They shouldn't be bothering people while they're trying to eat.
Thank you, Ed.
And then Ruth from our TikTok said, no, not a jerk, not for buying, but sometimes you just need to not voice that opinion of yours.
All right, got a text from Bobby. Absolutely a jerk this time. Sorry, Prospector. All right, we'll
See,
see.
you're getting it.
Let's get on the rock lines here at Rock 107. Am I a jerk?
Absolutely. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, Prospector, but you know what? These opportunities for these kids, these fundraisers, are for them to be able to do certain things that maybe they can't afford. So by you denying these young kids, you probably made it so they can't go to camp this year.
You know, some people would feel bad about that. I'm not one of those people.
Yeah, I know. And Michael from your Facebook said, you should have bought all the candy, you cheapskate jerk.
All the candy. What are they, my kids? In the question today of am I a jerk for when these 2 kids came into a diner, started peddling their candy bars, me saying, no, I'm sorry, you shouldn't be in here, I'm not buying it. According to you, Northeast PA, by the slimmest of margins, we're talking like 2 votes in the favor of this. By the slimmest of margins, I am not a jerk.
Ladies and gentlemen, grab the kids, call your neighbors, and gather around the radio.
It's now time to announce the winner of Prospector's Jam Bag of the Day, as decided by you at rock107.com.
We uncover the most baffling, ridiculous, pathetic, cockeyed, laughable, preposterous blunders in the world of misdeeds. Nominee number 1.
Here are a couple of masterminds who thought they could outsmart the police and the snack aisle. Authorities in Evansville, Indiana, got a tip about some suspicious packages arriving at the post office because apparently Cheeto bags weigh 40 pounds now. Yeah, that's right. When a detective checked them out, turns out they weren't packed with delicious, cheesy goodness, but meth. So cops did what cops do. They let the packages get delivered and staked out the place for a while. Sure enough, here comes Natasha Gardner and Goldie Flauner rolling up in a white van like they're on the episode of Dumbest Criminals Special Delivery Edition. They grab the packages, hop back in the van. When the cops move in, they floor it because nothing says I'm innocent like ramming a sheriff's SUV. Shockingly, the expert getaway plan didn't work. The van stopped, the suspects were arrested, and the cops sent them off to a detention center in Kentucky. Meanwhile, somewhere in an evidence locker, there's a bunch of Cheeto bags filled with meth and probably some very confused officers resisting the urge to lick their fingers.
Nominee number 2.
Here's a woman who apparently believes traffic laws are just suggestions, and the best way to get out of a hit and run is with another hit and run. The whole thing kicks off in Arlington, Texas, where Desiree Daly was behind the wheel of a Chevy Avalanche, plows through a stop sign and slams into a Ford Focus. But instead of stopping like a normal human, she just keeps driving. While police are still responding to that scene, guess what? They get another call, and yet another hit and run just a few blocks away. This time, Desiree smashes into a Mazda at a stoplight and in a stroke of genius decides the best escape route is cutting through a parking lot like she's in Grand Theft Auto. At this point, you got to wonder what she's even trying to do. I mean, she's not exactly blending in. She's driving a beat-up Avalanche with fresh car damage, leaving a trail of destruction like a Looney Tune character. Hey, wouldn't you know it? The cops shockingly figure out who she is, track her down, and surprise, surprise, she's got a bunch of outstanding warrants, because of course she does. They slap the cuffs on her, haul her off to jail, and now she's facing even more charges.
And the winner is...
the two women charged with hiding meth in Cheetos bags. I guess it was a plan. I don't know if it was a good one, but you're the Yam Bags of the Day. And we'll move on to Friday's Yam Bag of the Week competition. Keep it here for all the nominees for Prospector's Yam Bag of the Day, weekday mornings on Rock 107.
Thanks for listening to Prospector's Prime Cuts podcast. Be sure to catch us live weekdays from 5:30 to 10 a.m. on Rock 107 or online at rock107.com or the Rock 107 app, a free download for your Android or iPhone. Subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher Radio, or wherever you get your podcasts so you never miss Prospector's Prime Cuts.